If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
I'm back.
Hello.
We're back. We got the whole squad with us, minus Tone, who is probably putting the kids to bed.
He probably is.
He'll be in a second.
What's up? How was everyone's Halloween?
Relax, chill. I worked. I mean, is it really Halloween?
It's different when you're older. It's different when you're in a pandemic. Like it's all weird now.
I'm just upset because the Halloween plans were canceled. We're supposed to hang out with Tone and the fam. We were gonna try to put together the whole Encanto ensemble. So we were thinking about doing.
Wait, were you guys? What were you guys gonna be?
Me and I think me and Jess had settled for like the aunt and uncle.
Oh my god,
that would have been really dope for y'all. That would have been something to see.
I really need that now. Like I need that to happen so much. I'm here for
perfect. Yeah, for those who don't know, so I got taken out by COVID last week. That was fun,
dude.
Guys,
I'm glad you're better because they hit you and Atlas, and I was like
dodging it. Like I'm not trying to
dodging it like bullets.
Bro, like
let
literally,
me knock
I just
on wood. Like I haven't.
Listen.
Well, I mean, I wanted to give a shout out last week, so I'll give it to this week. To Rich Dresden and Stephanie Dresden, the lucky couple who got married that weekend. For those who don't know, they've been together. Rich has been a friend of the show. He hosts Dresden Media, and it's fun because, guys, look, I got made into a little character by Shadow Rabbit for his wedding.
Yo, I love that, man. Yo, he's been doing
Shadow Rabbit.
That's funny.
Yeah, so many moons ago, before when I was just the solo host, I used to do the stupid segment Poops and Giggles at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because everybody who is now a co-host on the show who was a guest at one point. I remember Val making the trek to the apartment. I remember Law coming out, and it's just funny where we have come from. When he gave me that, I was like, damn, I have not heard that in a while, Rich. Thank you for that little shout out. But yeah, he's been a long time friend of the show, man. But yeah, guys, I miss you guys. Damn, it's been a week.
It's been a week.
Yo, not for nothing. It has been a week. It has actually been a week.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit. A lot in the news lately.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna cover a lot in the news. It's a lot in the news. I mean,
there's so much to talk about.
We got a great show tonight. I mean, we have a returning guest who's going to pretty much plug his Kickstarter, and he's been a guest on the show before. He's had a successful Kickstarter with Crit, so we're going to have him on. One guy who's like our resident guest host, he's on here too in the background, chilling in the back. He has he's taking over Law's old nickname, the Resident Snorlax, because that's the nickname we used to give Law.
He's taking over as like, I don't know. We got to give him some Wikipedia wild ass name, like, because good God, like
the Wikipedia master.
Yo, for real, like it makes me actually upset how much it's like convincing.
Oh yeah,
like it's getting to the point now where like I think out of, let's say he's done it 20 times at this point, like at least 18 have been solid enough that we're all like,
no,
you really didn't watch the show? Like you didn't see that shit?
So far, so good.
A big shout out for George for subbing in last week. We should have got Pong to sub in. You guys could have Wikipedia'd everything with Pong last week, but you guys held it down. You guys did a great job. The guests they have fun. Again, I was sad because I didn't get to talk Game of Thrones with you guys and get to butcher names because it was the last 2 great episodes, and I was like, oh shit, I can't wait to talk it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like it was fun to watch in the background and fall asleep listening to everybody. And I was like,
but you're back.
I'm back.
Can hit us with those announcements, sir.
Yes, I will. Thank you for the transitions.
How was I last week? I went through those announcements quick.
I'm just gonna give it to you. That's all. So I'm gonna burn through these announcements, real quick. So first of all, guys, make sure you guys are checking out Koncrete Kombat on Patreon.com, Bonet Studios. Koncrete Kombat actually go into the presses now. George is actually going to be lettering Chapter 2, Part 1 because the pages are done for that. It is a webcomic that you can catch at my Patreon. Next, you can catch Law on his Twitch channel Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Sundays. Law will be updated. Yeah,
I'm updating that schedule as soon as I get like a nice groove with the new job and like see how I'm feeling and whatnot. It's probably going to be Sundays and Thursdays are definite, but they might be a little bit later. We'll figure that out.
Also, too, shout out to Wayward Raven. Again, Concrete Combat is one of the stories featured in the new anthology We Suck at Comics. It is
where you guys at?
It's on about under 200 needed left to fully fund it.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
everybody,
awesome.
it was a great pitch effort. Everybody got in, all the writers and artists. It was just blowing up. Got voted as Kickstarters, one of the projects there. So less than 200 away from being fully funded and then push rewards. And I have a feeling it's going to get fully funded because Rhode Island Comic Con is this weekend. So if you guys are there, make sure you check out the Wayward Raven table. Also, to check out the Medusa's Cascade podcast every Saturday. Your favorite podcast app.
Oh my god, there's
Inbeon.
There's so much coming. Like y'all have no idea. So we finished the Inverness arc. We have the Tales of Bosco, Ty, and now their new Green Emerald Dragon friend. Oh man, it's fucking amazing. But not only are we hitting you with the recap episodes, the arc episodes at some point in the near future, Tommy just told us that new stuff is coming out very soon. I'm super excited. Like I'm so hyped for all the stuff that we got going for you guys.
Also, too, if you guys know Morgan Quaid, he has a show. I gotta put the link there in the description. But it was a great show. Tommy's actually gonna be on it. And he does like a little fun D&D role play. Does like a little breakdown with the interview. It was fun getting to play a marionette character in it. So definitely gotta put it up there. I believe it's No Ordinary Podcast. Unnecessary. You know what? I'll put the link in the description, guys. Also, check out our community.
You was about to butcher it.
I'm about to butcher it. Yeah,
ready.
Sorry, Morgan. I was getting ready, but yeah, guys, check out the community because now we're being doing community posts now on our YouTube channel. We've been putting out surveys out there. So those who've been participating, thank you. You guys have been giving some great feedback on the YouTube community channel. So again, be posting a lot in the feeds. Definitely with the Kickstarters that are coming out today that we're advertising today, with our guest that's coming on and the Way We're Raven. So we'll put those on the community feed too, so you guys can continue to follow those. Make sure you're also checking out Lou Cyphs' EP, The Motive. Its link is in the description. Go listen to it on any of your favorite podcast apps. Lou Cyphs is the creator of the Nerds of the Round theme song. He makes grown folk rap. That's what he does. And finally, our brothers on the internet, Catch the Craze. You can catch them 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube every Wednesday night. So make sure you guys are tuning in to Catch the Craze. They are the favorite podcast of the indies. They're always doing their great to also celebrate the indies out there, indie creators and everything. So give them the love and the support that they need.
Comments today, they add it. So wait. You can't come on just yet. It's like, where's Tone? Hi, Michelle. Tone went across the hall. We never saw him again.
And here's Tone.
It was so perfect.
I appreciate the love, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Well, what's going on? We got
next week I won't be here though, so that'll be legit. You know, someone's
got Johnny.
Don't worry,
we got mad people in the building. What's up? What's going on?
We do. Because everybody wants to talk about this. But first things first, we have our guest host coming out. He is known as the Wizard of Wikipedia.
Yo, like, honestly.
You know what? I like that one. That was actually a good one. Good for you, Seabass.
We just got to bring him in.
Let's bring him in. Seabass gets one every once in a while. It's not that he doesn't get them all. Like, it's literally, he gets one, and you have to wait a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it needs time to refresh.
What is up?
Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So
there you go.
It's gotta hit one at some point, right?
It's bound to happen at some point.
Listen, we love you, Pong. Again, we always love having you on the show. You know it, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. Good to be here.
The most beautiful bastard on the net.
Also, I'm gonna drop this link now in the comments there so that you guys can definitely check it out. Our next guest coming out, he is a friend of the show. He's been a guest on the show before. We got to talk about his Kickstarter before when he was doing Crit. He is doing a new Kickstarter, Crit Caffeinated Chaos, a D&D adventure story. We want to give it up for the returning one and only Chris Shaloff. Chris,
what's up?
Hey, how are you guys? Thanks for having me again.
How you doing?
Glad to be back. Everybody doing well tonight?
Oh yeah, man.
It's been a long day, but we're good.
I got frogs stuck in my throat, but I am happy it's Tuesday night.
Yo, we got the whole squad in here today. This is great.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you because you're on Push Reward City right now.
Yeah.
With your Kickstarter. It's amazing. You got 9 days left. push rewards for crit. Your goal was 1,500, 3,800. Again, congratulations on that. On your way to 4,000, bro. Tell us what we could expect this time from Crypt, because last time you came on, you told us about the chaos and everything. We loved it. You based it on your friends, the D&D campaign of Heroes and all that. So what can we expect with this one?
Well, I like to start every one of these interviews off with showing off something I'm really proud of. I created my own energy drink for this one. So
no
nice.
shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna need that. Oh shit.
It's limited edition. There's only 8 cases of this. I think there's one of these left on the Kickstarter right now. So if you back,
do you want to drink it though? Like, it's like, do you want to save it? And you want to save it as like a collector's thing, or do you want to drink it and be
you get 12 of them. I'm doing them by a case. So you
holy
get
shit, that's awesome.
So each case, I had custom sent to me. I worked on it for like about 2 months, and I actually don't have a sense of taste, so I had to ask everyone around me what it tastes like. And I got the 2 that stuck out to me the most were it tastes like a pixie stick, and it tastes like Red Bull mixed with Rockstar energy drink. So, my wife
tastes like darkness and despair. No, it's supposed to bring you from darkness and despair.
It's actually called After Death.
Wow,
that's amazing.
Yeah, in the book, they actually create their own coffee and energy drink brand, and one of the energy drinks they have is Spectre's After Death. So,
nice.
When we were playing this 3 years ago, my idea was to always have it, and when we were going to this campaign, I just started doing my research. Spent about 2 months going back and forth trying to build this, and so I had them at Baltimore Comic-Con. I was not able to sell them because I got yelled at for that. So those aren't for sale. They're gifts with the Kickstarter.
We've been
Right,
around that.
We know a number of people who find a way around that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say you just made it to the top 3 list of my favorite creators. One being Johnny C, who brews his own coffee based off his comic.
Listen, man.
Mark Franco, who brews his own beer. Now I'm gonna like, yo, I know that energy drink. I'm like, I got.
We're set now.
That's
it. Open a bar just with comic creators.
I know, right? So the book's called Caffeinated Chaos, and I was going to try and do coffee. I couldn't find a design and a price point that I liked. So I reached out to my old record label owner and was like, hey, I remember we had these energy drinks and I really want to do this. He was like, oh, they're local. Let me give you their contact. And so I got in right the perfect time because they went up to like 20 cases after that. And I was like, well, I don't have a few grand to drop. So I got 8 cases that, like I said, we got one of those tiers left. That tier does come with a metal cover as well. I'm doing aluminum print covers, only 10 of them.
Nice.
So you get the energy drinks. I think you get aluminum cans, you get aluminum covers, you get, all the other covers in there as well. And we have a D&D tier, so people can play D&D with us. You get your own custom die and die rollers. And this book is actually really important to me because it's the first book I'm taking on everything from the ground up. So I'm coloring this one as well. I've been working for about 2 years now on my inks, and for the past year, I have been messing around with colors. I took some lessons last year, and I was like, well, I'm going to start doing it. And before I decided that I would do it in the book, I colored some pages, and I sent them to a few of my team members, and they thought that my old colorist had done it. So I was like, well, I guess that's a good sign. So we're not losing any quality, and I get to actually do it all, which is really, really awesome.
That's cool.
I think that's a cool thing too, because it's like, again, as a creator, you get to see every facet of the book being created. So it's like you get to understand each and every working part in a comic, and it's like, so you'll know, like, when it comes down to, okay, like a little here, a little there, and it creates a degree of respect, because like when you do it yourself, you don't there are people who don't really think how hard it is for like the inker, how hard it is for the like the different things that go in there, like even the letterer and all that. But that's just awesome, bro. I mean, this book looks like it's definitely a testament to labor of love that you put together, and I know it spun off with about a D&D game that you and your friends played, and it's just awesome to see that how it's just spun out into this, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, my friends tell me all the time. They're just like, every time we played D&D, everybody's always said how we wouldn't want to turn it into something, and I'm just the idiot that did it. So.
No, we feel you on that though. We feel you on turning it into something else than just some time around the table.
Oh man,
yeah.
What's going on, George?
Hey, what's up? I know that guy. What's been kind of interesting this time around is, this is my 7th issue of the book, and so I have 6 issues to look back on, and I've never really done that. I've always just kept looking forward. And recently, somebody asked me, was I proud of the work that I did? And I was like, I haven't really looked at it. I just do it and continue drawing. And I was at Baltimore Comic-Con this weekend, and I was able to kind of, just network and talk to people about the book. And I picked it up and I said, here's my trade paperback. And in the back of the trade paperback, I put the book that I never released because it's a it should be on Webtoons. It's not something you would charge someone for. I'm just being honest. It's the book my wife told me was not that great. So I'm able to look at that and then look at those pages you were just showing and say, wow, like in 2 years I took myself from never doing any kind of artwork like this before to now doing pages and having people ask me like, hey, how did you do that? It's like I just saw it and I just wanted to draw it. So I'm really proud. This is the first time I've actually looked back and been like, wow, I'm really proud of what I've done. I've built this something really cool out of just us being dumb on a table.
Listen, it's what was it? Something dumb at a table. We can talk about that. Since 2020, we've been doing something dumb at a table. But it's again, it's
wait till the new episodes come out and you got to see what dumb shit we got up to this weekend.
But it's man. Again, I commend you, brother, because working on in comics and everything, I know that it's not easy getting out there doing it, and it's like you've done what 7 issues now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
I've lettered them all. I've also been part of now 4 other titles that I've either edited or lettered or both. I got my hands a little bit of everything.
Very nice.
But guys, please check out the Kickstarter. He is on push rewards. Get that. Be the one to get that last tier of energy drinks.
Yeah. We 2 big things happened last week too. We got voted. We got ranked number 2 on CBR.com as the most anticipated or most best indie book to read or something.
Holy shit.
That's awesome.
Congratulations. That is huge.
So that was really cool. And then at Baltimore Comic-Con, as I'm sitting there at my booth, John Leguizamo just walks by and he's a foot away from me. And a buddy of mine, Dan Price from Bigfoot Knows Karate, we were standing right next to each other. And he's just like, hey, can we give you a book? And I was like, I love that guy. He's uber nerd, comic book creator, actor. He's been in Spawn movie. He was in Mario Brothers or something. I don't care what you say about it, but it's still cool. And so here I am just handing John Leguizamo my book. And he's like, oh, thanks. And then I posted it on Facebook. And today he's liking my stuff. I was like, Jesus, that's,
holy shit.
I was like a little kid,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That feels good.
That's
Absolutely.
Let him know I've been sliding in his DMs trying to get him on the show.
My dad told me he met him a long time ago, that they were just at a bar and he was there. My dad just sat there and talked to him. And it was just
I've heard a lot of stories like he's just in random spots. He's super chill and really nice, like a sweetheart. I feel like he gives off very everyone's uncle vibes, and I love it.
He was just chilling. He stopped. That was a big thing for me. I've seen a lot of famous people. I've met a lot of famous people. And I mean, I shook hands with Arnold Schwarzenegger one day, and it was just kind of a random, oh, I'm in a line and he's shaking hands. That's cool. But he didn't stop and talk to anybody, just continued on. And John stopped and acknowledged us and was and I'm tripping over my words because I just watched 2 of his movies recently, and I was like, oh, you were my favorite part of Spawn. I read this interview recently where they said he didn't want to have CGI bugs on it. He really wanted to eat the bugs, and he wound up vomiting. And I was really impressed. I was like, that's just goes to show the commitment he has for the trade.
Wait, those are real bugs?
Yeah, those worms, those are real. So
now I want to look back and see.
Yeah, so I was like,
he was Violator, no?
Yeah, it was
Was that
Violator.
the name? Yeah.
My wall right here is literally all Spawn. It's my biggest inspiration. Todd McFarlane and Spawn, since I was a kid. But I was tripping over my words. I'm like, oh yeah, my favorite person in Spawn, and I meant to, I was trying to bring up Romeo and Juliet because that's the only reason I even liked that movie was his character. And I was trying to say that that movie, and I lost it because I'm just staring at him in the face, and I'm like, I could reach out and touch him. I was like, that movie, and they had guns. He's like John Wick. I'm like, sure, that one.
He's Tybalt,
Exactly,
right?
Pong.
He's Tybalt, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
Tybalt.
he is. Mm-hmm.
He was just so cool. So that was aside from little kids coming up and checking out my book, that was the highlight of my weekend right there. I didn't even have to sell anything, and I would have felt accomplished.
That's
No, I love
those
him.
are one things I miss about cons is that just those moments, and when people have those, doesn't matter if you're a fan or you're a creator there. When you have those moments, I'm glad you had that, brother.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are at Baltimore. I was almost there, but again, last week with the sickness, I had the plague.
That's why I can't taste. 2 years later, still can't taste anything.
Oh,
Really?
Wow,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, I'm on 20. This is my 25th month without having any sense of taste.
That's
Wow.
awful. Oh man.
How do you eat?
Man, very bland and boring.
Very, very sadly.
Yeah,
I can't
it's all
recommend.
texture based. So if certain foods just you might like the taste, but they just feel weird in your mouth, and it's no, thank you. Fish is a real bad one because I like the taste of some fish, but the texture, it's weird. And coffee tastes or smells like death. I can't put it in my mouth. It makes me want to vomit.
Tapioca, pro or con?
I haven't had tapioca, so I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things that just I was glad that it didn't take away our taste and didn't take our because definitely the sense of smell was there because after you pick up dog shit a couple of times, you definitely smell it. So that was oh, I still got my sense of smell. Thank you.
That's a good litmus test, my friend.
Yep.
In my house, I'm always tasked with cleaning the litter box because I can't smell it. So yeah.
Oh man.
That's convenient.
Yeah. It's well, you
Did I tell you
can't
guys-
smell it, so
Did I tell you guys about my safety sandwich?
Yeah.
Safety sandwich.
So the first time that I got COVID, I had gotten Subway earlier in the week, and I had kept it overnight, and so I was gonna I was like, oh okay, yeah, I'll finish this tomorrow. And then the next day I woke up and I had and I discovered I was feeling really sick. I fit all the things, and I went to grab the sandwich. It was like a garlic something from Subway, and I smelled it. I couldn't smell it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave this in the fridge, and when I can smell that again, I know I'm better.
I think I remember this story though.
About 6 days.
6 days.
wow.
When I opened the fridge, I was like, "Oh God, okay, yeah, well, that's good. All right, to the trash."
Guys, we put the link in the description, so make sure again, help him get those get that up there with the push rewards because Chris is really killing it. With the Kickstarter, he is on there. Get those push rewards up. Help him get even more funding for this book because it does help to get that extra funding on Kickstarter because we want him to get to issue 8, 9, and 10 and to keep on pushing out these books.
Yeah.
And Chris,
every additional dollar just goes right back into the comic book. We got 42 that are written, so I've got to I've got to keep paying awesome cover artists and things to help out.
There you go.
Listen, that's it, man. But Chris, we always love having you on the show, and anytime you have a project, just send the link our way. We'll share it. I'll play the commercial. You know that, so this way everybody can get out there. Because I love playing commercials for Kickstarters. Those are fun.
I'll keep you updated. I work in taxes, so after this one's done, I have to shut everything. I'll shut down.
Oh, we know it's your season. It's your season.
I tried it last year, and I almost went nuts just trying to balance both. I did a con while in the middle of tax season, and I have 37 locations. I have to, if someone has a problem, I have to fix it. And I'm sitting there trying to pitch my book, and all of a sudden my phone's blowing up, and I'm like, I got to save this person's tax return. Give me a second. IRS is mad at me, and I'm on my work computer talking to him, and I'm just fixing all these different problems. And I was like, all right, I can't, because I feel bad. If my attention is divided, and say like that person who I'm trying to fix their problem, if they don't get my full attention, and let's just say I have a number that's wrong, right? It's either going to hold them up or create a fine or something like that. So, I just shut it down this year. I was like, I can't. I'll do Instagram lives and things, but that's about it.
Listen, we're here to support you too. When you're ready to come back, just send it our way. We got that support for you, man. That's our support window.
Yeah, next year is going to be big for us. I have a lot of stuff in the works. So once tax season's over and I file that last one, it's on.
Well, you're joining us tonight with Pong to talk about. We wanted to do a Halloween episode this year. We figured, day after Halloween, why not talk about Marvel's Werewolf by Night? Which came out. It was a great little one shot, guys. That happened, and it was very fun for me. So I mean, wanted this one. Well, not Sonic. We're gonna let you lead, Pong. How did you feel by Werewolf by Night? Because you texted me and said Werewolf by Night.
We gotta do it. We gotta do it. We must do it right away. No, so Werewolf by Night, I liked it quite a bit. Hey, now wait a second, Rick. In the chat, Rick's giving us grief for not being dressed up. I have a red light. That light is normally blue. I have a red light now.
I didn't get the memo where we were supposed to dress up.
I'm dressed as a recovering patient who is recovering from a sickness over the last week.
I'm just as like this really cool person. Val.
I'm dressed as an employed person now.
There you go.
Hey.
Look at you.
I put red lights for you.
I'm dressed as a W-2.
Spooky.
I don't know about that.
Oh my god.
Have you filled out 1099 key?
Actually, I went as a Primogen with my daughter last night because my wife was supposed to go. Do you know what a Primogen is?
No.
Okay,
Primogen?
so
I dated one of those once.
She plays Genshin Impact, and
yeah, we all know.
It's a video game, and she got the costume for one of those characters, and my wife was supposed to follow her around as the Primogen, but my wife really didn't feel well, so I was like, well, give me the pink star, I'll run around. And so we're going house to house, and her friends were all like, is your dad really going to follow us? She's like, yeah, I really want him to be there. So as they're running around, the parents are like, so what are you supposed to be? I'm like, pure embarrassment.
I love it.
That's like trying to explain that to adults that my age. I'm like, no, just embarrassment. That's all.
No, we know Primogens. We know Genshin. That it made sense as soon as you said it. Genshin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I had a whole bunch of little kids. Oh, that's a cool costume. I turn around like, hey, how are you? Oh. It was a lot of fun though. She had a blast. So
that's all that matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
man.
I wasn't fast enough to Google Genshin Impact, so sorry, I can't weigh in on that one.
Rick wants the picture.
Where are the pictures?
I actually have one on I put one on my Facebook. Yeah, we only have like one. The rest of them is me taking pictures of her. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. Little kids, like they were. There was a video of little kids just like bowing down to this like star thing, and I was like, I really hope this doesn't happen. But there were the kids that were like, can I get a picture with you? I was like, sure. Like,
oh man.
Like, is mom and dad cool with this? Who's that random guy? It's not a guy. It's a private
Like,
jet.
I have a kid. My kid's over there. That's mine.
Yeah. I'm not some weirdo.
Mine, yep.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta do what you do, man. I go to playgrounds and like I see a kid come by and I'm like, I don't see that one. Like my wife will get swarmed by kids and I start stepping away like Homer Simpson. I'm like, I'm good. Nope, that's all you, babe.
I'm always like too young, and I'm like, that's just my niece and nephew. I promise. Like, I'm not the dad. Like, I'm way too young.
You are not the father.
Not I, sir.
Listen, yeah. Oh,
all right. So Werewolf by Night.
So,
You guys are kind of going down a weird hole there. Let's go. All right.
Hey, I just,
Werewolf by night. Yeah.
Werewolf by
Listen,
night. Yes, here we go.
30 minutes in. Let's do
If
it.
no one turned this car around, Val's going to be the one to do it.
I'm definitely going to. All righty.
Yeah.
So I just saw it like an hour ago because I was procrastinating. But I thought it was actually very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw, it
Very,
I
very
saw my
good.
commute back from work.
I was
It
surprised.
really good.
I did not have any expectations, honestly. So I was surprised at how well it was done. But I know we were starting with Pong's opinion. You know, go ahead, Pong. You could take it away.
So, okay, I grew up in a weird household. We can go more into that if you like later on. But I've never been into spooky, scary anything, right? When you originally were like, yeah, we'll bring you in for the Halloween show, I was like, you have got the wrong guy. But you brought me here for Lord of the Rings, and I pulled that off. So, okay. but I was like, but so then I watched it, and I was like, before we'd even talked about doing the show, but I watched it a while ago, and I was like, son of a gun, that was a horror movie that I actually liked. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it quite a bit, and I think that this is kind of their tester, like them testing the waters to see what gory can look like in the MCU, right? Because and we'll probably get into the black and white bits later on, but because they shot in black and white, they could get away with so much more than they normally would.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people were getting their throat cut and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that
like,
scene.
Oh, so
Yeah,
good.
the
So
scene where you see the
good.
flashing light and the gate dropping down in the background, that was done so well visually.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my God. The only thing I didn't like is the guy just standing in the corner, like trying to figure out what he was doing with himself. But it was done very well.
Did you notice the guy that just decided to drop his shock stick?
Mm.
It's just like,
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just like threw it on the ground. I don't know if
He was
that
like,
was
I'm out.
pacing. Yeah, but
I'm good.
Very
I
nice.
Good.
did not notice that one.
yeah.
Hopefully, I think that's what they're doing. Is testing the waters for like Blade and
I mean,
Mephisto.
I don't know if the rumors are true, but apparently the Blade production is all kinds of screwy.
Oh no.
It's all kind of effed. So
What?
The hype
Well,
we
Feige
had.
was like, screw that shit, do it over. I don't like what the fuck you guys are doing. And I trust in Feige.
I mean, yeah.
Chris, what was your thoughts on
I
Werewolf by Night?
I never read anything comic books. My hopes were, like you just said, that it was going to usher in, more adult themed content. Superheroes are fun, but I do like the darker side of things and to kind of mix it up. I feel like we've gotten a lot of the lighthearted stuff. Let's see some of this dark stuff that we can do. Because Disney can do it. I just want to see what they can do with a Marvel property. I liked a lot of the Easter eggs. Man-Thing is, awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah, like you have Swamp Thing, Man-Thing. There, each
Thing.
one has their own things. That one was really good for me. I liked that. I liked being in black and white because I'm not a big fan of black and white, but I thought that, hey, if they're going to do something dark, let's see it in black and white. I recently started getting into like some black and white horror comics, so it prepped me for that. I was impressed. I also went in with like zero expectation, which I think helped. I think one of the things we face a lot of times with these properties are we grew up with them. We have these big expectations that will never be met, sadly. So I think it helped that I had zero expectation going in. So I was pleasantly surprised. Most of the time, if I'm bored by it, it's like it's background noise, but I kept finding myself, like when I was at work, pause that, rewind. What just happened? Oh, I got to see that. That was cool. So that's when I know I like it,
Yeah.
But like I said, especially with black and white, they did a really good job of showing us what can happen. And I'm hoping that with some of the stuff they dropped, that we can see some of the elements, at least within like Midnight Suns and, some of the darker side of Marvel that we haven't really been able to see.
Well, the fact that we got Bloodstone introduced, she definitely comes back a lot in the comics. And the fact that we have Man-Thing that was introduced, which I'm glad you brought up, because Man-Thing is one of the many Nexus being characters in the Marvel universe and can connect to multiple realities, which he's been on adventures with Howard the Duck. He's also been on which would be fun. Get Seth Green right there. He has been on one of the monster teams in Marvel when Marvel did a whole monster team. So the Man-Thing's been involved in a lot of stuff in Marvel, and a lot of people really like the Man-Thing character. I thought he was really well done with that, and then showcasing his power because it's like, he makes you burn. Yes, that's what we can't wait for.
They also gave me very Groot and Rocket dynamic with being able to understand him with Jack and Ted. I thought that was very good at the very end. Like, I had no idea what Man-Thing was saying, but you kind of got the concept. I think they did very well with how they introduced him into MCU and with what they gave us. Again, like Chris, I had no expectations. I honestly did not understand why we were even doing it. I was like, why are we getting this? I don't get it. Until I watched it and I was like, oh, okay, it's okay.
I really liked how it wasn't connected. And I think that's a lot of the problems I've had is, where are we going? Because they keep this interconnected universe, having something that's still a Marvel property, but not like this is going to show up somewhere else. Just knowing that it was like this entity of its own, and you could enjoy it for what it was, and not. And Man-Thing can, clearly he can exist wherever he wants in the MCU, but it was nice not sitting there trying to figure out where that fits. With all the movies they have, especially with like the Eternals that's out, you're like, where is this big hand coming out of Earth going to happen? And so, like, you're always like me. I'm the guy that after I watch something, I literally go to the Wikipedia and I go to the IMDb and I try to find out everything about it and see how it connects to everything. And this, I was like, well, this is cool. Like, I don't have to worry about how this is going to affect my other movies. I can just enjoy this for what it is.
Yeah, I think
so here's how I think this is going to affect all the other movies. I think it's going to.
Hopefully it makes them better.
it does help to make, because like, if you remember with if anybody remembers with the comics did have a lot of their one shots. It didn't have to do with a whole overarching story that was happening in the big Marvel universe. Like when we had like the team ups, like She-Hulk felt like a whole team up show, and it did address the hand too from Eternals and She-Hulk, which was pretty cool.
God.
Finally a show that addressed it. But no, it was really cool because it's like, you're right. It lends a lot more to the MCU because it's not connected to the whole bigger story, where it's like you get to have fun with it. I think that's something that we're probably going to see with these Marvel special presentations, where it's like it doesn't have to do anything with the overall story. It's just go in there, we're having fun with these characters, let's go, and just have fun with it.
I'm glad somebody brought up the Universal thing, because I was super bummed when they canned their monster universe. They have some really cool monsters in there. I think, Marvel kind of touched on like that. Like, they really filled that void for a little bit of like the monster stuff, because we just don't get enough good. The Mummy, the last Mummy was absolute garbage. So it was nice to see them use monsters in a way that was, it was fulfilling. I guess that's like a good word to use for it. Just it was fulfilling. A lot of the stuff that comes out right now makes me like either not enjoy it because it's boring, or like, where else are we going with this?
So of course I was looking for where else we were going with this when I rewatched it today, and this part isn't a joke. But when they were in the crypt, when they get locked in, when Elsa and what's his name get locked in the crypt, and at first I was just like, I don't understand why her sister doesn't come up and just say, "Do you want to build a snowman?" Anyway, so
what?
That was ridiculous. That was
okay.
Stupid. Her name is Elsa. You see, her name is Elsa.
I get it.
Yeah. Okay. Right. We move forward. No, seriously. So what I was doing, I was looking at all of the coffins. If you notice, on the end of them were dates. I did not see a date past 1990. So this story at least takes place in modern-ish day, like possibly around Miss Marvel time. Here's another thing I noticed. Okay. I don't know why I noticed this, but I noticed this. You remember the little hand crossbow shooty thingy? Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when she takes it off, let's see, she takes it off the arm, I think it is, at the very end. You know what attached it? Velcro.
Mhm.
That puts the date sometime after the 80s as well. So between that and between that and the stuff in the crypt, I would say that we're soundly into the 90s. Well, especially with the amount of dust on everything, late 90s, early 2000s. So I don't know if it's present
This
day.
is why we keep you around, Pong.
I do what I can. I do what I can.
Wikipedia wizard.
No.
No, I'm
This
messing
isn't
with you.
Wikipedia.
I'm messing with you.
I have
And
Wikipedia
also,
up, it doesn't say
yes, you
anything
did
about-
bring up Universal. Props are about like
Hannibal.
yeah, Anima, like everyone's been in chat today. Love you guys. What's up?
Oh, there was
Yeah.
one talk.
There was
that
a
Norman-
movie that it brought me back to the I don't recall the name of it, but
Ooh.
it's an older movie. They're hunting down a werewolf thinking that was the big bad. They made silver bullets, come to find out it wasn't actually the werewolf, it was the vampire that was the issue. Does no, never mind. Okay.
Modern day.
It's old, it's much older.
Yeah, I think
1980s
Norman
probably.
Reedus at one point was it was rumored he was attached to Ghost Rider at one point, but I don't think that went through.
But to Val's point, I do not know it. How old is that movie?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna Google it.
Okay.
Sorry. Gotta look it up.
I
Gotta look for it.
genuinely like. So I grew up on like Edgar Allan Poe. I grew up on Vincent Price. So all of this, like when I watched it, like just gave me so much nostalgia of like the time and the era. And I was just like, all right, I'm here for it. Let's see what happens. And they did it justice to like those kind of like movies, those kind of pieces. You love a good like House on Haunted Hill, that kind of thing. I will say, like, we got a lot of horror from Multiverse of Madness, but I think this introduces the monster, or at least more monstrous aspect, because we got monster aspects of like Doctor Strange as a zombie and Wanda just going off the deep end, that kind of thing. But I think this is a good way to introduce like those characters like Frankenstein and all these other guys down the line. And I think this was really good. Like, I have no complaints. It was one of those quick, solid, you kind of more or less saw where it was going, but it hit all the notes that it was supposed to. And it was in, out, and clean. It was really good. I had a good time watching it.
True fact. The Punisher was once a hitman for Heaven. True fact. The Punisher was also once Frankenstein in the Marvel comics.
Yes, he was. That part I do know.
Yeah.
That sounds like a what if. Was that a what
No,
if?
it was actual true facts where Frank Cat, like, they were just, this is when Marvel didn't know what to do with Frank Castle. They had killed him off at one point, and he came back. He had like these guns. He was like, they were just doing some stuff with him, and then all of a sudden Frank's back alive, not a hitman for Heaven anymore. Then there was
Punisher. Hold on.
yeah, and then Frank and Punisher was a really crazy one.
Frank and Punisher.
Gosling would have been weird. Frank and Punisher.
Yeah, really,
Frank and
yeah.
Castle.
I could see Gosling being the Ghost Rider.
Sorry.
Gosling?
Yeah,
I can see
Yeah,
that.
Ryan Gosling. I
I'm
think
gonna-
that's what Rick.
They need to do Ghost Rider right. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of these characters they're talking about bringing in, they really need to do them justice, because you know we've been waiting 30 years, not 20 years, whatever, since the last one, the last good Marvel run. I want to see them do it right. That, and I mean, I really hope they do Fantastic Four, Justice, and Ghost Rider. Those are two that I like.
I don't think they're gonna do it. Which one?
No, the comic,
do-
right?
which
Is
one
that
you-
the comic?
Yeah. It was the comic, because he's too small and wimpy.
I
Honestly,
don't know. It reminded me of the old school Universal Wolfman.
exactly.
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
they're going. I feel like they're going for that. The best wolf, like werewolf I've ever seen, and I will say it so like my face turns blue, was always the Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. That
Oh, that was
werewolf
good.
was so fucking good, and I
Yeah.
based every werewolf I see in cinema off of that. I'm like, can we get that? Like the transformation, and everything, where his skin's just fucking ripping off.
That's a
him?
good one, but
that.
the American Werewolf in Paris has a good werewolf transformation scene.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I would give it that for practical effects.
For
'cause
practical effects,
yeah,
it's so good.
absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a quick picture of Frank and Punisher. Oh, wait, it didn't pop up. So that's what he looked like in Marvel Comics when he was
Wow.
That's
Frank
cool.
Castle.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the whole story was that Frank, I think he got torn up by somebody, and then they put his limbs together back. I think it was like, again, Marvel was pushing the whole a Man Thing was part of a team, and the Shield had like their horror team going after doing special ops for them and all that. So you can imagine you have like a
their version of, like, Justice League
vampires
Dark,
and everything.
no?
Yeah, it was definitely their version of Justice League Dark, and it was like they were like spec ops monsters. That's what it was. It's like the Wolfman and everybody like with body armor and Kevlar going in there and taking out AIM agents and Hydra agents. So it's like, oh, this is a bloody good time. But yeah, that was Frankencastle. It was weird. It was a weird port. Let's not forget Marvel made Captain America Werewolf. Yes, they did. Marvel has done a lot with their. They made Storm a vampire. Dracula at one point, which Dracula does exist in the MCU. and
Jubilee is
also-
was a vampire. I
Jubilee
think
had-
she still is.
I think she
What?
still is.
Yeah.
Jubilee became a vampire.
Jubilee is a vampire now. After Wanda's curse, No More Mutants, she lost her mutant powers, and she also ended up getting a kid, Shogo, I think his name is, and he transforms into a dragon. But that's beside the point. Jubilee's a vampire. I don't know if she still is in the storyline, but yeah.
Okay, that's news
Yeah.
to me.
Jubilee became a vampire. No, but it's gonna be interesting if they, because Deadpool, what was it? Deadpool had a whole issue with Dracula because what was it? He took Dracula's girl or something like that. I think it was. It was something. It was.
Wouldn't
it was
be
Deadpool's
surprised.
run.
Would not be
So which
surprised.
would be interesting. Again, these are just fun things, like fun ideas if they ever want to throw it out there. But yeah, Dracula
Yes,
does
because
exist there.
werewolves are the superior monster.
I love werewolves.
Yeah.
I
If
mean,
you guys, if you haven't watched, Teen Wolf MTV show, it's a sleeper. So good.
Yo,
I'm
nah,
just saying,
like,
they're coming out with a movie, and it's gonna be great.
listen. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
For those that are joining us right now, just to let you know, we got Chris on the show, Chris Shaloff. He has his Kickstarter that's out, Crit. So I've been dropping the link in the comments there. So make sure you guys go out there and support. But what is next on the news? We got
Tone. Did you give your 2 cents? I don't remember if you
Tone.
gave your 2 cents on.
I was thinking, I'm looking at all these other Wolfman things.
Right.
Because Anibal mentioned the Benicio del Toro movie from 2010. I was like, that was a good movie. That was actually fairly violent, which is kind of what I want in my monster movies. No, Werewolf by Night, I was really digging it. I loved how like you turn it on and it turns to black and white and it feels like you're watching a film out in the 90s and you get the scratches in the screen and you just you get
Those,
right
like,
into
cinema pops. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, the cigarette burns, like you saw the
Mhm.
cigarette burns and all that. But like you get really right into the world of it as they're walking, as you watch Jack Russell kind of walk through it all, and I was into it from the jump. I love the black.
How
black and
soon
white
did
vibe
you
of
pick
it.
up that Jack was?
I had a
wasn't-
feeling it was him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, like you
I
knew
think
from
when
the
he said
casting.
I think when he said his name was Jack is when I realized, because I didn't know anything really about the show. I didn't know what to expect. But when he told her Elsa his name, and I was like, oh, he's the werewolf. Okay, so I knew where it was going. But
Yeah, I knew he was the werewolf.
I
I mean,
think
he had
it-
like the tattoos and everything. Like I just like, yeah, he's the like. I didn't know if they were going more like a native route or something because of the tattoos.
Mm.
So that's kind of I was kind of leaning in it being.
I had a sense because
Jack.
of when he said, "Yeah, I fought him a few times," and then he didn't like say anything about his kills, and I was just like, okay. I was like, if the werewolf isn't the thing that they're hunting, he's the werewolf. Easy.
Yeah, I figured they weren't. I at first I was like, are they hunting the werewolf? And then I was like, no. And like, are they tricking him to go? And then like, no, it's something else. And then it's like, oh, it's Man Thing.
Mm.
But what is like a solid 45, 50-minute piece. I was.
His name was Jack.
yeah.
No, his name was not Jack Russell.
Yes, it is. It's
Yeah,
Jack
his name's
Russell.
Jack Russell.
Oh my
Russell.
Yeah.
god,
Yeah, and that's it's comic accurate. Jack Russell.
that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah, no, I want more. I want more of this, and I think it added a new circle of Marvel for us to kind of pick and choose from. Is this the world that we're going to see Blade interact with? Is this the world we're going to see the Black Knight interact with? Just to kind of, even if it's not, a multiversal saga thing, maybe phase 7, wherever the hell we're going to go, we'll get more into it.
I didn't pick up on that.
Oh, I didn't catch that either. Did you guys notice at the very beginning where it had the special presentation? that's what ABC. It's kind of like modeled after what ABC used to do back in the way back, or when they were going to play like Charlie Brown Christmas or whatever. It had the the multiple colored special presentation that would sweep around and stuff. It's like very, very like it was kind of funny. It was kind of like you were watching a movie from the 40s in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that same special presentation when Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special drops, and I cannot wait to see MCU Kevin Bacon.
The Kevin Bacon thing was like, oh my god,
this is hilarious.
I laughed so hard. I could not believe. I was like, let's get him a gift, and the fact they show up at Kevin Bacon's door was
that was great.
And it's Drax and Mantis, which is like the best pairing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're both idiots.
So the only other one would have been Rocket, and Rocket would have been terrible for it. It was like,
right?
Oh God.
You were like, get in. I was like, what? No, what are you doing?
Yeah. You guys give me 1 minute. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sure. I'm looking forward to seeing that. That trailer was actually very, very entertaining.
Yeah, I'm ready for it because it's like they've been talking about this Guardian in the Galaxy holiday special for a minute now. This is the
part one of the James Gunn swan song.
Yep. James Gunn is ready.
Perfect segue, because I'm gonna segue right now.
Okay.
The fact that James Gunn is taking over the DCEU,
I'm not DCEU anymore. It's
whatever the fuck that it is. Everyone's like, yeah, awesome. And I'm like, no,
I'm not for it.
I'm like, don't do it. No.
I'm gonna be honest.
You're gonna take a Watiti this shit, and I'm not gonna be here for it.
Right. I don't mind maybe a couple movies. I just can't see him running the show like a Feige. You know what I mean?
The thing is that it's not solely Gunn. He's co-CEO. That's one thing. So there's someone there to possibly. It's him and a producer. I forgot. So there's someone to possibly help.
Give me Matt Reeves or nothing. Like, that's gonna be my.
No, I don't want Matt Reeves running DC. I need him to finish continuing his Batman movie.
Yeah, but like, you're right. Like,
you're
not wrong. But like, I still want like.
Listen, look, I think James Gunn. Because whatever you feel about James Gunn and his past works or whatever now, or his Suicide Squad or whatever.
I'm not even gonna accept.
He was able to take, Guardians of the Galaxy and turn it into a household name, and he was involved in what they were doing with Endgame. I mean, at this point,
what he did with Peacemaker.
And what he did with Peacemaker, like at this point, like
you already know how I feel about Peacemaker.
You love Peacemaker, it's okay.
Peacemaker was great. Peacemaker was great.
It was okay.
Yeah,
not great. I don't know about
it was great.
Everybody wanted Gunn to fail because everybody's like, "Why are you making this a show?" And
I would say Suicide Squad wasn't like my favorite of just, and it wasn't my favorite. I didn't really care for it, right? But I think James Gunn at the helm of DC. I think it could be it's a net positive. It is a net positive, and I think we can look forward to seeing what they're doing. I don't know if they're starting from the ground up with Peacemaker or Black Adam or whatever the hell that we're doing. But I can't.
Best thing ever? Whoa, that's a whole lot, Rick.
I can't find it as a negative. Right. Yeah. I think we can look forward to the things that he's going to be producing. And if they give him full reign, I mean, sure. I think Warner Brothers is all fucked up anyway. And
because I want to second it because like, if you really think about
opening scene, I guess.
Look at the leadership that was at Warner Brothers with DCEU in the beginning. And look at all like they really were trying to rush everything. And the fact is that James Gunn is someone who they've been trying to pull to do a lot of DC work. When they finally got him, he did great stuff for them. Now it's like they want him to be the head of it, along with again as one of the co-CEOs, and he's already gotten Feige's blessing. And it's funny because Kevin Feige and James Gunn would be the two that would actually broker in a Marvel versus DC movie. Because of the fact that I think that they both
that's speculation.
No, that's speculation, but the fact is that those would be the two to do it, and the fact that The Rock has even said that he would love to do something like that, which
we're gonna get to that, George. That's not the truth. Cavill.
So-
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that though.
Well, I'm with George on the beginning. I definitely think he might YTD this, and I'm like,
I do agree with that.
But the
Yeah,
Cavill stuff, we got.
I don't.
We can
So
talk about Cavill in a
again,
minute.
I do not need the DC universe to be dark. I need it to be as good, if not better, than the animated shit that we've got. Because
it's not going to be better. It's not going to be better.
It'll never be better.
You look, dude. You hold the animated. Most of us do hold the animated works of DC to such a high pedestal of just superhero content. Animated, the live action movies are never going to top that. They're never.
If we're talking like you're talking like Kevin Conroy as Batman.
Yeah, like Justice League 90s, Unlimited,
yeah.
Justice League. Like the movie, animation, the animation adaptations of these comics. They're not going to be as better because what you can do with animation and adaptations and just going for it and literally taking lines and putting it on and it being like 45 to 50 minutes and being solid, can't do that. So
here's how
that's why I was like that's why I was like Matt Reeves' Batman.
Why do you keep telling me that I can't have things that I want?
I'm not saying that. Just dude,
no,
I know
it is
you.
exactly what you're telling me right now.
I've known you for long enough to know that you hold those animations to such a pedestal. Absolutely. It's not going to beat it.
And if you don't, you're wrong.
It's not going to beat it. And I've accepted that they're not going to beat the animated stuff. To me, the bar was set with Matt Reeves' Batman.
Yeah.
That's the bar.
Yeah, honestly,
that's the fucking bar.
For live action, that is the bar. Absolutely.
So is that the only thing with Pattinson?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You get Mephisto, you're gonna like it.
We got people going on saying stuff.
Oh my god! Hold on. Jesus Christ! All right.
Go ahead, Pong.
When did Anibal say that Black Adam was a DC animation? I'm missing that.
Here's how it'll succeed, and here's how it'll fail. If the okay, well, I have this big project going on at work, and one of the things that I would ask people, mentors and stuff like that, I was like, okay, I feel like we're outside of the dragon's lair, right? And before us are all of the knights who died fighting the dragon, right? I feel as though James Gunn is going to slay the dragon, is going to attempt at least to slay the dragon of making the DCEU good, right? And as a part of that, I am sure that he has examined all the knights in the hallway and has found that probably what most likely caused their death was death by committee. Different people in high up places being like, no, we need to make this character. We need to make that character. We need you to do this. We need you to tell this story and that story and get these two things together, blah, 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 right? So where I'm going with all this is I am sure that James Gunn has seen that happen before.
Oh my god.
See, that's what I get for giving out the URL on my stream. I see you, Hugo.
Oh my god, that's great.
So he does indeed have layers, like an onion. But he is. But what I'm saying is he's done this before. He has, and I'm positive that he has said, okay, look, I'll come over there, I'll straighten your stuff out, but I have creative control. It's not going to work if I don't. If he did that, then I think it's going to work fine, because just like somebody in the chat said earlier, he did, what was it? Slither.
Slither.
Yeah, James Gunn did Slither. He's done violent stuff before, right? It's not all jokes, right? So I think that if he does have all of that in place, donkey. But if he does have all of that in place, there's going to be I think it's going to be great for the DCU in general. Now, if he did not, if it was just at the time when all that crap came out on Twitter that had already come out 10 years prior,
right?
If that's the case, and he was just like, yeah, I don't know, I need another job. Marvel's going to can me. And did not get that kind of authority, then we might have a bad time.
I will also say, and Variant Comics brought this up, that there's literally only 3 ways that the DCE can do anything right now: is Flashpoint reset, abandon everything, or try to salvage what they can. And it feels like they're trying to do all 3. It honestly feels like
aren't they still going with the Flash movie and they're just going to recast?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's in limbo.
It's in limbo thanks to Ezra's dumbass and whatever they decided to do with Batgirl now. And now The only thing they had going good was Shazam, the Batman movie, and now Black Adam which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And none of
Haven't
it
seen it.
none of it is combined. None of it is in the same. It just.
We don't Chris, you just walked in on this one, so we were talking about how James Gunn is now one of the co-CEOs of the DCEU. So I wanted to see how you want to weigh in on that one.
So again, I've talked to a few people about my thoughts. I love James Gunn's movies, but the movies that James Gunn has done really lend to his style of storytelling. Isn't there another guy that's partnered with him though? I didn't recognize.
Yeah, he's a producer.
So my concern is the same thing that's kind of burning me out with the Marvel universe is just the comedy injection in everything.
That's what I was just saying. Mm-hmm.
Right, like Peacemaker, hands down, freaking awesome, loved it. Suicide Squad, loved it. But both of those titles, Peacemaker, we didn't have really. It's another title no one had expectations, and everybody hated the original character. Like most of the characters in Peacemaker didn't really have a fan base. Maybe people that knew them, but you could do whatever you want with those entities, right? So we got something fun. I mean, John Cena being a big dumb dork is always fun.
Yes,
but
it is.
The concern I have is taking something like if he's overseeing a Superman movie. We've seen Superman Dark, and I don't really want to see Superman funny. I just want to see Superman be Superman, And we saw Batman be funny, and that really didn't work.
Their best Superman, I love Henry Cavill. Their best Superman is Tyler Hoechlin.
Really?
Is that the one just before Henry?
That's the one on the CW.
Yeah,
he's the one on the CW right now, and he's literally like, it's again going back to the anime series. It's like they plucked them, and we're like, this is Superman.
But do you feel like with Cavill, right? Because my issue with Cavill is not him; it's the fact that they just didn't give the man lines.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like, if we finally get him with some fucking lines and some substance.
Right, I don't think Cavill did a bad. Cavill was a very good. I mean, Tyler's good for TV, but for a movie role, I don't see that. I don't see that. I love Tyler.
Yeah,
Tyler Hoechlin has a very small head.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue about that.
Peter Safran. The other person is Peter Safran. That is the producer.
Got it. Yeah.
He recently is producing Shazam, Fury of Gods, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman. He also did the Suicide Squad and a whole bunch of other DC shit, plus some other some scary movies.
Blue Beetle, and this is another thing about DC that I've really enjoyed lately is, aside from The Rock's ears and the hairline, they're getting the costumes right, which is a big thing for us because we're used to seeing these characters a certain way, and we're able to see them like Blue Beetle. When I saw the costume, I was like, that's without any CGI on right now. When they clean it by itself, it's freaking awesome.
But are they still going ahead with Blue Beetle?
Yeah, it didn't get put on the chopping block.
I feel like I honestly, as much as I want to see it, I feel like it's going to be one of those that it might get on the chopping block, and I just don't want to hold my breath for that kind of thing.
No, they would have cut it already.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys. Mm-hmm. So remember the movie that I was looking for that I couldn't remember what it was. The Monster Squad.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Monster Squad. Do you guys remember that one? It was just so good. Okay, all right.
That's a classic.
I digress. Yes.
But I do love James Gunn. I liked what he did with Guardians, but again, I'm one of the people that really wanted the original Guardians, not Guardians we got. Guardian 3000 or what I think that's like 3000. I always loved that team personally, but Guardians we got was good. I'm optimistically curious with what he's going to do. I just really don't want to see funny everything because I'm getting burned out on funny everything. Mm-hmm. I want to see some really. I want to see like Black Adam, for instance. It was a fun movie, but it had like some weight and gravity to it. People were dying. I mean, it was arguably The Rock was killing most of them, but with a lot of this stuff, it's I go back to Marvel a lot because they're the biggest. We had this big story about people, half the population's gone, and all these. I mean, that was sad. Like a lot of weight in that story, and they're like, "Oh, no, they're back." I'm like, "Oh, well, all that emotion we just had is gone." Like, I want to see some of that in DC, because the big thing between DC and Marvel,
Damn,
Marvel
Michelle.
has super.
Coming in hot.
I'm
right.
not going to disagree. I really hated the Turtles.
Why?
Tried to watch it 3 times.
It's
I
one of
didn't
those.
hate it.
It's,
It just wasn't that great.
yeah, it's one of those
It's
movies
so
that should have
polarizing
been.
for people.
It should have been. It should have been a
Because
show.
the Deviant storyline
And that's
was
why
awful.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hated it because they had the ability to do a show, that many characters
Yeah.
in one movie.
Yeah, it was a lot.
That many unknown characters in one movie.
Yeah.
Right.
It
And
was.
it was rough, but DC has gods, right? Their heroes are godlike,
Mhm.
and Marvel has heroes. So when you have heroes, it's heroes are fun, but gods. I mean, go back and read about gods. They're always like destructive and terrible. So I'm hoping they do bring us some of that dark DC storytelling. I
Yeah.
don't need it to be in everything like Superman and some of their lighter titles, but Batman needs to be dark. I mean,
Yeah.
what we got in Batman v Superman, I liked the Batman pieces. I hated Martha. It made no sense to me.
Again,
You
ended
know.
on a safe word.
Like Martha, like exactly. Like
Why'd you
but-
say that name?
Why'd you say that name?
right? Like that made no sense to me. But at the same time, I grew up on both of those characters. I never once put together that Martha piece. I never put it together until I was like, oh wow, that's interesting.
I'm with you, man. And they did that. I was like, is this fake? Did they make
Right,
this
I had
shit
to
up for the
double
movie?
check, and I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, they did have the same name.
And
I
I
didn't realize
think it
that.
has to do like I knew like Bruce's mother's name. I just never knew Clark's mother's name.
Yeah.
Because you always know Martha Thomas and Martha Wayne. Because
Yeah.
we always get to see them die in every
Right.
iteration.
See, I'm the opposite. I knew Martha Kent. I never knew Martha Wayne because I was
I
no
knew
Thomas
Martha
Wayne.
Wayne, especially because of the video
So-
games.
I'm the person who knew both of them, but it's not until you put them in the same context. Because like Martha Wayne, cool. Martha Kent, cool. Like, but you never call Martha Kent. You always call it like Mama like Kent or something like that.
Mama
Like,
Kent.
Mama Kent.
yeah. So like you never really get the oh shit until like it's actually said.
And I bet Zack Snyder was like, I got it.
Oh
I fucking got it.
Wait,
But-
Mom
Must
said
have
the
been
same
on a
name?
Twitter site or something like that, and he was like, "There's my next movie. That's the hook."
But Chris, to your point, I will say a lot of these, like a lot of comics just in general, have such like good stories that like have been wasted by either a comedy bit or just trying to get the highlights of these things, like the big action sequences. Again, the original Avengers movies, everyone's like holds high, and I'm like, most of the first two phases I wasn't with. Like I was
Really?
like, whatever. More so like the Avengers movies, like the first two Avengers, like everyone got super hyped for the first Avengers, and I was like, And I was like, really? I was like, dude, it doesn't do anything for me. There's so many, like I love a good story. Captain America, the second one, Winter Soldier, amazing.
Yep.
And now for DC, I feel like the Batman gave us a great story that also happens to have great action, great cinematography. It gave us everything else, but the foundation should always be the story. Because I can give two shits about what's happening on the screen. If the story's good, I'm in. I'm hooked.
Yeah,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the second Captain America,
Second,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Winter
Okay,
Soldier
then
was awesome. I will agree with
Civil
you.
War
that
was good too.
it was good. It was just again, Civil War really needed to be its own thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it should have been a bigger arc for itself building up to that, because in the comic books it was so much more
It was huge.
convoluted and it took more characters, and I feel like they downplayed it for the movie,
I
but it
remember.
worked.
I remember what was the reason why that one was so downplayed. It's because first of all, Marvel didn't have all their characters, and it took a lot to when they got Spider-Man, because
Mhm.
that was the big thing. Because I'm pretty sure if they also had the rights to the X-Men, it probably would have been bigger. They did what they had. They were doing what they could do with what they had licenses for the movie.
No, I get that, and I'm
And-
not against that.
Oh no, yeah, but that's also what led to DC's downfall, because that's when DC came out with Batman versus Superman. Batman versus Superman was also supposed to be released the same day as Marvel's Civil War, as Captain America.
Oh, I
Civil War.
remember the game of
And
chicken.
yes,
That was
Yo.
amazing.
and
They were-
DC
Marvel was like,
fudged.
I'll watch. I'll see you. I'm gonna raise you.
Yep.
Mother's Day.
I will
got
say,
you.
out of the
Mother-
two, I can rewatch Civil War. It's really hard to rewatch Batman v Superman. Casting choices. and
Anyone
Martha.
who's ever watched that
Yeah.
more than once, I give you praise.
Well,
and
I watched it
kudos.
again.
I would
because
never
watched,
do it.
I watched the extended Dawn of Justice because we were getting ready for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I also rewatched Justice League, which was fucking awful.
So
Listen, y'all had me watch these things, and I literally was like, I'm watching it once, and I never want to see this again.
I really hope they get rid of the story. Zack Snyder, I'm not going to say one way or another. Some of it's good, some of it's, WTF. But I really hope they get rid of the storyline they were going with where Bruce and Lois have a kid or sleep together, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Because, we're going back
Wait,
to
when
storytelling.
when did that happen?
That's the dream sequence.
That's
Okay, and that's why I was glad that they shut that down, was because we're going into storytelling, right? That's a weak story plot because we've just had this big movie where Bruce is like crying about his lost friend, and then he's going to go sleep with his wife. I don't think so.
Yeah.
And the dude's a playboy. He can get whoever he wants. He's got Catwoman and all these other women. He doesn't need. He can get Wonder Woman if he wants. He doesn't.
It
he
doesn't
bags
make
Wonder Woman.
sense it just doesn't make sense.
That whole thing was crazy because they did they did like a tour or like an exhibit where you can go and you were able to see all of the writing of what they were going to do for part 2 and part 3. I remember we talked about it. I had screenshots of it from Reddit.
Oh my God.
And
But I didn't remember that they were trying to include Lois with Batman.
Yeah, that was
it
was a whole to do. It had to do with the fact of like Apocalypse Jesus Christ, not Apocalypse.
Dark Side.
Yeah, Dark Side.
I said it.
Dark Side taking over, and then they doing the Flashpoint thing. Like they had a whole plan, and it's kind of crazy how elaborate it was. And it got after Justice League, they decided to let it go, and after Zack Snyder's thing happened, and people were like, "We need to bring it back," and it was all bots saying it, but it's out there, like what he wanted to do, and I think he had Bruce Timm draw some stuff, didn't he?
He did, and also there was no secret that Snyder wanted to do a Batman movie because the Superman Man of Steel, as we were talking about it was dark.
That's so.
It was.
I don't think Bruce Wayne needs to brag about any girls he's vetted. I mean, he's a playboy. There's no need for that.
You want to know what? I would watch a film of Wolverine.
Hey guys, have you guys played Gotham Knights yet?
No,
I have not. I've heard.
I heard it's awful and it's less than 30 frames per second. I'm good. I don't need to.
It's not. It's really not. It's not awful. Okay. Wow. Thanks.
I've heard that.
I believe in there.
I want to, but.
It's actually really good
I don't
gameplay.
want
It's
to.
very similar to the Arkham games and the Spider-Man
When
games.
I get my next gen
gameplay.
console, then I'll probably play it.
As far as the frames per second, there are some minor things, but not enough to spoil my gameplay experience.
Tone is already like, nope, not doing it.
Honestly, it's a really good story, and I really enjoy. If you've ever played any of the Arkham games,
I did. I played all the Arkham games. I love those games.
right? And these it's just as good.
I love all the Arkham games except for Arkham Knight. I hate
Arkham Knight wasn't as good.
Arkham City is pinnacle. But anyway, we're going down a rabbit hole.
Asylum is also very good.
This is the rabbit holes that we're known for. But let's talk about.
Hold on. Pong had a thing. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Pong.
I had a thing. Just super quick. Actually, it was in the chat. Hugo Dahl said, "Dang, sounds like they had some soap opera writers on staff with the whole romantic thing." And that was the thing that I did like. That we started to get away from for one brief moment, where every freaking story had to have a romantic interest, and I was really glad that we were getting away from that. Like, that was my favorite thing about. I remember we saw Frozen in the theaters, and that was my favorite thing about it. I was like, oh, thank God that the prince doesn't have to come and save the girl and blah blah blah. This, like I said on here repeatedly, it's the same damn story. I'm tired of that story. Give me a different story. Yeah. Right.
Well,
and I like the fact that they didn't do that, and now I don't understand why they're trying to bring that back. Is my point. Like, that sounds like a old exec at Warner Brothers being like, you know what we got to do, kids? We got to have a romantic story in there. We got to have the hero get the girl. You know, like what? That's the only way it makes sense to me in my mind. You know,
they do that same exact voice and the same exact finger point.
with you got to have a smoking
With a
cigar,
cigar.
in your hand, kid.
Chris.
Listen, you don't understand Hollywood like I do, okay? If you want to have a good movie,
That
you
just
gotta have
makes
a
me
romantic
picture Roger Rabbit in the studios and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one of those. Yeah.
One thing that I'm really tired of in superhero movies is the origin story always being, hero A versus mirror hero. Like every single one of them has been that way. I went back with a buddy of mine recently. We were actually the guy who plays Boulder in my book. We were listing all of our favorite movies, and I was like, I'm really tired because you can throw a movie at me, and I will point out that the main villain in their origin story is literally the vice versa of that. Ant-Man does it, Iron Man does it, Captain America does it, even Black Panther.
Guardians 2?
Guardians 2, well, that's kind of
Well,
tough.
it'd be Peter
Guardians
and his dad.
doesn't really
and Ego.
have
It's not one main character.
but that's not
so-
really
No, but it's also
an origin story.
Yeah,
exactly.
like the
Guardians
origin
1
story.
kind of builds an origin, but it doesn't give them like an individual in origin story.
Yeah, no.
I
Iron
would
Man is
say
good,
Guardians' biggest enemy in the first one is themselves. Like we're seeing them fight themselves most of the movie. Like having that overarching villain was just there. Like
And then they kept doing it.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
You're just a Chris Pratt hater. Stop.
I hate Chris Pratt so much.
Guardians is not bad.
He ruins Guardians, the first movie, Guardians, is not bad. And the second movie is even not bad because everyone else saves it, right? But Chris Pratt, everything he's in. Yeah, sorry.
So we
But
we
everything
know.
he's in,
So,
like becomes
Guardians
that
2's
man
story
child
wasn't great.
thing.
Like I was
So
really
we
mad
know-
about Ego.
so we know that Pong is very excited to see Super Mario.
Can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Stop it.
I
Stop
can't
it.
wait to
Love
have
it.
you on when we talk about it.
Did you pre-order your tickets yet?
You know what? I should go see it.
Just so you
Just
can
so you
complain.
go see it, just so you can talk shit. I would love to hear it.
The rest of that voice.
To be
cast,
fair,
I'm
I feel like
excited for.
you're gonna be like everything but.
Right.
I probably will.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about the voice. Honestly, I'm not sold on Chris Pratt being Mario's voice.
So
However,
Someone's
hearing
like,
the video
all he
game
says is
version-
"wahoo," and I'm like, no, he actually talks in his his games now.
Mm-hmm.
as an Italian, I'm very upset. I'm just gonna get that.
Yeah, I read it right.
As,
Like
You know,
as
I would
someone
have
who
preferred
dabbles
like a John Leguizamo like voice on there instead of
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Pratt.
Charles Martinet is still alive. He's been doing the voice for 30 freaking years. Charles Martinet is
Same.
alive and well. He's
I
fine.
understand that.
Like, you
However,
could've-
that's a video game voice.
No,
that,
no, no, no,
imagine
no,
that's the whole
no,
game.
No. I'm gonna counter
The
this
whole
with you right.
movie.
I'm gonna counter this
Okay.
with you right
Okay.
now
Okay.
because the Transformers movies got
Oh,
the
you're
original
right. You know what?
fucking
You know what?
voice
I'm not.
actor.
Listen, hold on. I'm not arguing that. Optimus Prime's voice is epic,
I'm just
bro.
saying- I'm
no
just saying.
arguments
Wow.
here.
I'm just saying, if you went in, everyone was like, you better get this man to do it because I ain't gonna watch this fucking movie. I'm already not gonna watch it because it's a Michael Bay movie, but I will tolerate this shit because we
Yeah.
got the original Prime voice.
I
You
mean,
got
like
Peter Cullen?
Right.
I'm there.
Yeah,
Yep.
we
that's it.
have when
That's
we say like voice of Batman. Who do we think? Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
Because he literally he was like, the only thing I'm coming back for is the Killing Joke. He's like, all right, bet, let's do it. Like, sign
and,
the fuck up.
then we fucked that movie up.
I'm gonna fuck this up.
We get Al Pacino or
But
something.
listen,
like
I'm here for it.
Like
Al Pacino as Mario.
Just-
Ooh.
Oh
I'm just,
my
I'm just
God.
no, but like, look, you could have.
Why do I actually want to see
You could have
that
had
now?
like the original voice
Oh.
actor of Mario,
Say hello to my
Come
little
in.
friend.
and then you get the star power for everybody else, and that would have been
Yeah.
perfectly fine because people
Yeah.
still would have watched it. Chris Pratt is not the reason why we're seeing
No.
that movie. We're seeing
No,
that
not at
movie
all.
because it's Mario,
Yeah.
and so you'd be like, we got the original voice actor, and you get Jack Black as Bowser. I'm in.
Yeah.
Charlie as Luigi. I'm fucking buckled in. I'm buying a ticket right now because all I think
Charlie?
of
Don't you have
Charlie Day.
Keenan?
Michael Keaton K
Yeah.
as Toad. I'm here. Like all the other
Mhm.
voice actors, you
They
can
tried.
bring in all
see
the
it.
star power that you want. Just bring in the original Mario because that's what we
Yeah.
all fucking grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody born then, born now.
Yeah.
You play
he's still
Super
the
Smash
voice.
Brothers, it's fucking that guy. Like,
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
I don't understand.
That would have been cool.
Yep. Agreed.
You know, Transformers though. I mean, it's not like they really get the best anyway.
The movies didn't do that great. We just happy that we got Peter Cullen as
The first one,
Yeah.
the first
No,
one was
hold on.
fun.
Some of them,
The first one was fun.
The
I
first one
enjoyed
was
the
fun.
second
couple
one.
was
They
all
went,
right.
they went
then
off
they
the
started
deep
to go
end.
left.
They did.
Listen. We didn't need
But
to see.
we still
we
watched
didn't
it.
need to see
Fox left.
Devastator balls.
It was over.
That's it.
It was over.
The first two are fun.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the one to reel us back in because we're with all the talks about
Transformer
casting,
balls. Blah,
with
that's
with
what
all
we're
with
talking
all the
about. Sorry.
talk about casting choices and things that
Hold
are happening.
on. Rick, just commenting on Sonic. So the thing with Sonic though, like Sonic didn't really start getting a voice until Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
So like we're not really attached to a voice, but I
Exactly.
do love his voice actor because he's just great in
Yeah.
what
I
he
agree.
does, and I think it worked for the
He's
character.
so funny. I love that dude.
Yeah,
Mario's been speaking since. Geez, was it 64? Before
64.
64.
64.
No,
Like
was
he's
it
been
Snoop-
making
was
he's
it
been
Mario
making
64?
he's been making sounds since 64,
Yeah.
and then he's been speaking for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mario 64 was the first time you really hear electrical, you know, and
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
that's the voice that you expect to hear when you hear Mario.
Yeah, Joel.
I don't
White
even
with the Sonic
watch.
voices.
I didn't
I
even
have
watch
no
the
idea.
cartoons.
I don't even
Cartoons I
remember the
did.
cartoons like that.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't watch the
yeah.
cartoons. I'll be honest. I'll throw it up.
Listen, he
My
was
my
double
first,
duty. He
I
was
didn't
in
watch the
Family
old
Matters,
ones.
he
I
was
watched
in
the
Family Matters
I
of
watched like the
Urkel and
later
that.
90s stuff.
my first time hearing him speak was Sonic Adventure.
If we're talking about video games,
So-
yeah, that's right.
So talking about video games, we're going to a Netflix adaptation that we are losing Henry Cavill as The Witcher in season
Yo.
4.
I ran
And
out of my wine.
Talking about-
Liam-
Right. So,
Liam, yeah, go ahead, Law, take it.
So-
Go ahead with this disappointment.
because Tones read the books. I've never even played the games. Like I have no.
I
never
read a
played the
bit of the
games
book.
either.
Look,
I've
not
read a
not
bit of the
book.
first book.
All right, but like the attachment to this franchise comes from nowhere other than
Henry
this
Cavill.
show and Henry Cavill. And this man loves this show, loves this franchise so much, and the showrunner's like, nah,
Yeah,
we're
grab
gonna
that
go this
popcorn.
way. And he's like,
Did you-
why? When your star walks away because y'all fucking this up,
He was like,
Did you hear about it?
He knew the show was happening. He told his agent, "I want to be in the show." And he was like, he wanted to have the conversations. He was willing to Tom Brady this whole thing and take less money just to make sure he was in the fucking show. He's the show
Bro.
Bible, and like where actors would be like, he would literally quote lines with page numbers
yeah,
and be like, "Hey, I think we should say this," and
Yeah.
they would be like, "Nah, fuck off. We're really fun." And hearing you be all grumble, and be like, "Oh, fuck." And like, I love that about Geralt, but I also want the other things about Geralt that you realize
Makes
you're
him
not
Geralt.
really getting, because
Yeah.
you get a little bit, you get these tastes here and there, his relationship with Ciri and all this, but that's all in the back of Cavill. Listen, like,
yo,
and you're doing Liam dirty, you're doing Gale dirty in this aspect. Just cancel the show and let it be done. Get
Yeah.
season 3 done. Let us watch it
Yeah,
and
to
just
get-
cancel it.
to just
Like
be like,
I feel
every
bad
other
for
thing,
Liam.
like
I really
every
feel
other
bad for
thing
Liam.
that Netflix does, just cancel it. Just this time, we want you to cancel it and not abruptly cancel it.
I don't know. I kind of wanted that Resident
It's
Evil
so-
thing to be canceled the minute I heard about
Yeah.
it.
Oh God. I actually sat down and watched that whole show. I was like, I'm glad
You're
this
the
went
only one who
so
did
this,
Resident
bad.
Evil.
Resident
My
Evil.
wife and I didn't even make it through
Oh,
the first
God.
episode. When we saw the worm thing, and we were both like, "All right,
No,
we're
no.
done."
What you have to look up
No,
is
we
the
don't have
actor.
to.
No. Before, hey, Chris, what you have to look up is Bargain Bin Wesker. When they had him dressed as Wesker, he
I
looked
did.
like,
I did.
yeah,
Look like Blade.
yes.
Yeah.
no, he
But a
looks
knife.
like Spork.
You know what's so bad though? Like I wanted to, there's a lot of discussion about the casting, but I was like, well, I love the actor, so I really want to see what he does. But one person can only carry so much when the rest of it is just so much garbage. And speaking of The Witcher, when Henry came out and said, "I signed on
interesting.
for 8 years, and he said as long as they don't screw it up, he'll be there." So when I saw him exit, everyone's like, "Oh, it's because of Superman." And I said, "No, that's the man that fights for his roles. Like he will do what he has to do. He will overwork himself and make things work. Like he wouldn't sign back on to Superman unless he could do his passion project. I'm sure of it." And so for him to walk away, I know hands down they weren't doing the series justice.
Yeah.
I mean, as fans, we've watched it for 2 seasons, and even at the end of season 2, everyone was like, "Can you start doing justice to this?" You know, between the video game and the books, they're just not. And then I read an article where they were saying how the showrunners don't like the source material, and there's a lot of that.
Then why
on.
are they doing it if you don't like the source material? It
Right.
makes no
So
sense
weird
to me.
Like, there's so many of these people in Hollywood that take on a project, and they're like, "Oh, here is, you know, X thing with a built-in fan base. Go at it." And they're like, "Well, I hate what it's about, so I'm going to make a new thing." And all it does is put us in seats and makes us upset. And I mean, you're burning your fan bases out. You know, how many times in the last 5 years has something come out that there's an established fan base? They get in, they watch it, and they're like, "This isn't what it you know, it should be. Here's your blueprint. Just put it on frickin' paper." You know, like, how hard is it?
All we've been asking for.
That's
for
it, man.
Years.
That's
It's
it.
not
Like,
hard. And I hate to derail one more, but Halo was the perfect example. Perfect freaking example of like, hey, here's this thing. Just do it right.
Mhm.
Oh, no, we don't like it, so we're going to redo it. What? Then why'd you do it in the first place? Okay.
I wasn't mad
I
at
can't wait to
Halo
tell
though.
the story.
I mean, you got Master
story of
Chiefs,
Deadpool.
so-
Yeah.
I'm gonna break
yeah,
his
if you're
mouth
if
closed.
yeah, like if you're so like the thing with Halo, which I think we all talked about too, was that like if you don't know the source material, you didn't read any of the earlier books, you didn't really care for the game, and you just
Right.
come into it as like a space science fiction.
That was me.
It was a fun watch
I
because there's a
liked
lot
it.
of action and everything. But like,
Yeah.
but then when you compare it, because I was like looking at the lens of like, okay, I'm watching the Halo show just to get some Master Chief, and then you compare it to like the Fall of Reach. Like, I love that book. I really fucking love that book. I love the original trilogy, and you're like, y'all took elements and then switched them, and it was like, yo, you could have just adapted the Fall of Reach and would have had a fantastic fucking show.
This show is making, coming on with you guys makes me so glad that I never read the comics and I never read the book. Because I had a great time. I was watching, I knew who Master Chief was. The last Halo I played was Halo.
I never played
remember
any
the
of
flood.
them.
Yeah, that was it, right? So, but I absolutely just freaking loved it. Loved the show, and then I get online, and of course, and everybody's like, it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
But to their defense, right? Like, I'm sure there's some things that maybe you love, and if someone were to destroy it, right? You have to remember who the Halo fans are. Most of those were kids that grew up with Halo.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like me with Star Wars. I grew up with Star Wars, and when you screw it up, it does make me upset because, I didn't have the best childhood.
How I
And
feel
Star
about
Wars
that.
was like
Everyone has their one. Everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like that with Marvel and the Fox universe and the mutants.
Tone is Berserk.
Yes.
I'm Percy Jackson, which I'm glad is getting readapted. Like,
I'm
everyone
Berserk
has
and
the
Thrones.
one
I'm
thing.
Berserk and Thrones.
And
That's
Thrones,
right.
right. Everyone has their one thing that was ruined by live action, and we're just like, but you had the
Airbender.
source. Like, you had the whole thing. Like, you
But
didn't have to
I think
go
for
off
me,
script.
yeah, I think for me that's why I kind of gravitate more to the Marvel stuff, because I actually see where they did pull a lot from the sources.
Well,
when it comes
you
down
had
to
to
it.
pull what you could because you don't have a lot of it.
Well, first, there you go.
Yo.
No, but I mean with Marvel, like for example, the whole thing when people were talking about when they passed the torch of Captain America and all that, like those have been things that they've been working since the 80s. There have been multiple Captain Americas, and
Right.
the other thing too is like bringing
Marvel
in that.
MCU does
Yeah.
really well at keeping to the source material, changing what can be
Right.
adapted into the
It's
world.
just like, for example, it's like Yellow Claw. You can't bring a character like Yellow Claw or like Mandarin the way he was originally portrayed. So there's some tweaks that they've made.
Yeah.
But yet they've still tried to keep, because they use like some of the Ultimate stuff. They use some of the stuff from the 80s, the 70s. They've used a lot of stuff from the 90s, and they're just mixing it in there. I mean, this year wasn't the greatest Marvel year, and I believe some of the productions were affected by COVID. But I think what we're going to see is that
We got a lot of Disney Plus content. I think
we
that
did this year.
we don't even realize how great it's going to be until we see it all pieced together. And that's one of the things that I think that I'm looking forward to.
And I kind of want everything to do well, because it's like, it's fun, because like I go back and I think about as being a teenager in the 90s and a kid in the 90s. A lot of this stuff was not being made at all. Like if we got Punisher, we got Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. We had Captain America in a motorcycle helmet. at one point.
I like the Punisher. You leave him alone.
But it just shows how dark it was. In order to see it, you had to find it in the VHS aisle back in the video store days. Otherwise, you didn't see the Punisher. We had the unreleased Fantastic Four movie that Fox made so that they could keep the rights to the Fantastic Four pre the Jessica Alba one. And that one is like,
yeah,
Don't you talk shit about Blonde.
See, there's a fan base for that movie. You be careful, all right? I love Dolph Lundgren even in He-Man, so you don't even start with
I
that.
love that. Masters of the Universe is really good. I don't care
It's
what
better
nobody
than that new
says.
cartoon. I love that movie.
So
That
that
makes
actually that ties back into what Chris was saying. You know about the you have something. For me, that was Transformers. You sent me on kind of an introspective like inner journey there. After I don't know if you guys saw or not, but I was thinking,
question
okay,
for you, Pong. The greatest animated movie of all time is the 1986 Transformers movie, correct?
Absolutely.
It's up there. What
I
but you
fucking
gotta
love
con-
that shit.
I could watch
gotta
that
consider-
so many times it doesn't even make sense. I
You
could
gotta
watch it
con-
right now, like, and it'd be
I love that movie
that
so
song.
much. And all it was a product pusher. And I love
was.
that movie.
I mean, yeah, no. Every time I hear "You got the touch," like
Right.
Yo,
yeah.
Stan Bush was the best. Yo, the soundtrack.
No, exactly. It was fantastic, and I loved
We're
it. But
geeking
like,
out about this. Okay.
oh, totally. Yeah.
Well, it's like
By
I
the way,
do not do Transformers, people. How many times do I have to say it? I don't do
so
Transformers.
you know what we're gonna do?
I
We're-
You
do
started-
it, but you gotta understand, I was the Beast Wars kid.
No,
Like,
I'm a
let me
Beast
be-
Wars kid.
Okay, Beast
I'm a
Wars
Beast
was
Wars
We're gonna
great.
have this conversation.
However,
I'm a
Wait.
Beast Wars kid.
Yes, Christmas was good.
It was
too.
legit.
Wait,
Beast Wars was legit, but that original cartoon, that animated movie was so
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
And if you
so-
haven't
yeah,
watched it, you need to.
yeah,
So what we're
absolutely.
gonna do one day is that we're gonna have Chris come up to New Jersey over here, Pong fly over, Val and Law make it down. We're gonna be in Tony's basement. We're gonna put on
Wow,
Transformers
why are
and sit
you
Law down.
inviting people to
Yo,
Tone's
it's always inviting to Toe's place.
I would say my crib, but my crib is kind of small.
I see a
So-
bar back there. We can fit back there.
Yes, there is a bar.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a full bar.
There is a
I
bar.
can't wait to come down there,
There is
man.
a full,
Yeah,
full
um,
bar.
So I think Super Bowl next year, your place?
I mean, if you guys make it down, I'm sure George will drive you guys down.
Right.
Listen,
George, where you at, George? Might even let me
Look,
just
he
see popped
just
up.
said
Like,
the
where was
chat
he?
is there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been
So-
fun.
So,
Go
oh,
ahead.
okay.
Reintro.
No,
Can I
go on.
close
No,
the
you
loop
go.
on this?
Go ahead, Pop. I'm sorry. I had to
Okay.
just interject because you
Yeah.
said you're Transformers, and I always
Oh,
want to
no.
make mention of the '86 movie. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so
Wait.
super fast thing. By the way, that was the last performance Orson Welles ever did, was the Transformer movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that was my thing, right? And you were talking about like how people get angry because things were ruined, blah blah blah. It was a part of their childhood. That was mine. It was that and GI Joe. I lost my love for GI Joe sometime around 2003. But anyway,
I wonder what happened in 2003.
Channing
I
Tatum
don't-
happened.
Was
But-
it that one or the fact that he didn't come back the second one?
Oh my
He came
God.
back the second
He
one.
came
they
back
took
and
him off.
died in the
Wait,
first
who
like
was-
5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that doesn't count. He didn't actually come back.
And then they brought the Rock in, right? Isn't that what they did?
Yeah.
I think so.
Is that
yeah.
what they did?
That's the
I mean,
band
I don't
name.
know.
That is the band-aid for all franchises. Is you
It's
just
just
Rock.
bring the Rock.
So I
Bruh.
guess where I'm going with this is yeah, but the Michael Bay movies happened, and I saw the first one and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And then I saw the second one, I was like, this is kind of okay. And then the third one, and then I didn't even see the fourth or the fifth or any after it. My point with
How
all
many
this
are there?
being,
too many.
I don't care.
Too many.
More than 3.
The
But my
Bumblebee,
point-
Bumblebee
the-
movie. The
The
Bumblebee
Bumblebee
movie was okay.
fun.
Bumblebee
Yeah,
was
Dum-
good.
Bumblebee was very good, actually.
Bumblebee was good.
Bumblebee was fun. The two Megan
my
Fox
own-
ones are the best ones. That's it.
Yeah.
You just can watch
That's
those
fair.
two.
That's fair. No,
I agree.
the only point I'm trying to get at is that having new Transformers movies come out that sucked does not in any way, shape, or form take away from my enjoyment of the Transformers movie or the first gen Transformers or anything with Peter Cullen for the most part, other than the aforementioned movies. My point with this being that there is that I can separate the two, right? It's not like they didn't ruin what I had as a child. It's just they made something new out of what I liked before, and this is different, and maybe it's not even for me, and
Yeah.
that's fine. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yep.
You-
I
but
do
you know
know.
what? But the thing is with
we've
the
had things that like got readapted for a newer audience, and they still did it right. Like they were like, "Hey, this isn't for you guys.
Right.
This is for the newer, younger people to get them in." But
There you
it
go.
still stays close enough to like the source and the home.
I think they did that with what was it, Force Awakens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really, really.
There they are.
Really?
There they are.
Oh my
He was
God.
there that whole
Wreck-
time
wreck-
looking for it.
Wrecking balls in your
No,
jaw.
I agree. I mean, I agree. I think
I think they
my
did well with
issue
that
with
in Force Awakens, but the other two not so much.
my issue with it
Yeah,
is not when
yeah.
you redo it and you want to bring new audiences and you want to make your own story. I'm like,
Yeah.
whatever. If it sucks, it sucks. I won't watch it. It's when
Right.
you adapt something and you're like, we're going to adapt it, and then you somehow fuck it up.
Screwed up. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're just adapting it. Like you're taking what's
Like-
written
like
and doing it.
The
Like
Last
Berserk,
Airbender?
2016, or the last
Dragon Ball
Airbender.
Z.
Lost
Right?
Airbender.
Like any,
I'm
or,
sorry.
you know, like,
Christ.
or like The Witcher, like if you're a big fan of it, right? Because like they were probably going for like, oh, this is a really cool character, and he's really into fighting all these monsters, and they're kind of riffs of old story tales that we know as kids, and he sleeps with really beautiful women. We can get people to watch this, and everyone's like, no, there's a fan of the books and a fan of the games that you're gonna that are gonna want to watch this and see it. So I think it's just like, you know, like you look at it and you weigh the pros and cons. That's like my issue when it comes to Thrones. Is like after season 4, it's like, what is going on?
Well, you bring up a good point.
Go,
You know,
I need to look at the chat now.
there's established fans that want to see it in a new medium. Okay.
Yeah.
But when we've already seen it in that medium and you want to change it, and I'll use He-Man for instance, right? I grew
Okay.
up on He-Man, love He-Man. I didn't. I sat there trying to get my kid to watch the new one, and we both didn't like it. But that other one, the one with like little kids, you know, that one I
That was
liked.
good.
The
Right,
She-Ra
because
one?
no, well, she
No,
was
they-
actually
they-
not that bad, but
They made 2.
It's a
There's
CGI
Masters-
looking one.
There's Masters of the Universe, which is what they redid with with Kevin Smith did, and
Yeah,
then
not
there's
that one.
E-Man and the Masters of the Universe, which is aimed towards kids.
right.
And that one's really good.
And that's what I'm saying is that wasn't made for the guy like me when I was 4 years old, you know, growing up in my living room watching, you know, He-Man for what it was at the time. That was for the new kids to be like me, and I was like, I watched that and I was like, oh, I appreciate this, even though like I hated the Kevin Smith one because it was just so it was like nails on a chalkboard for me. But I was like, okay. Like, yeah, it had its parts that I was okay with, but it really didn't sit well with me. That one, completely new take on it, you'd think I'd hate, I actually really enjoyed. And I think that's where the difference is. There's a difference between remaking something, because you're remaking it, but actually releasing it for the first time. You've got to have some care and finesse to it, because, like Pong said, you could still appreciate your old movies, right?
Yeah.
But these people like Witcher fans are never going to be able to appreciate anything except for what they already had, you know? So like they're not getting anything out of this. They're just getting like someone's abusing the name just to make whatever they want. Why didn't you just make whatever you want with its own name? Right?
Yeah.
Halo. We finally get a live action Halo that's, you know, big money, right? Not some little 5-minute YouTube show. And these kids who grew up with it don't like it, but everybody else does. So why didn't you just make something that wasn't Halo? Because the people you're actually appealing to aren't the fans. They're other people. They would have watched it for whatever it was because it's just a sci-fi show.
So let me ask this. This is a question I have, and this is actually something I'm feeling a little bit with Andor, which I gotta go back and watch. But shows like Halo, for example, because I know, because again, looking at it from a fan's perspective, like there's things that, you know, people are not going to like, but if it wouldn't have the Halo name attached to it, would it have stand just as a great sci-fi show?
I think
wouldn't
so.
have watched it in the first place had it not been connected to Halo. In all honesty, I would not have watched it, because there's a lot of good sci-fi shows that have come out. Like what was that one? Severance. I never watched Severance. I never saw C.
Severance was really, really good too.
Severance
That's
is
what I hear.
good, and
I
C
heard
is
C was
good.
I heard.
C is
I heard.
so good.
But
I hear great things.
I'm a busy guy, man. No, but no, seriously though, like I just
Seabass,
don't
get
have
me
time to
started.
watch it.
You better get on it. We got a show coming.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna cover C.
We're waiting
gotcha.
for you, Seabass, at this point.
We
Yeah.
already have a date that's gonna happen, so I guarantee I will have it all watched. But no, I mean it's the same thing I'm feeling with Andor.
Wait. He said all.
He said,
watch?
"I guarantee all watched." Hold on. What's today's date? The time? Oh my God, I gotta write it down.
All
October
3
the
seasons.
1st.
November 1st, 10:39 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Guarantee. He
You
used the
say
word guarantee.
all 3 seasons.
Dude, just sit down and watch it with Jesse. She already got the cosign from Jackie, so we're just waiting on you now.
I'm in trouble. But no, I feel the same way with Andor right now because I'm watching Andor. I feel like
Pretty good.
it's a good show.
We're talking Andor next week, Rick.
Oh shit, I gotta
Yep,
catch
next
up.
week.
Oh,
We got with mid-season next week.
Yeah, no,
I've
so
actually seen
Andor.
it.
Yeah, I'm feeling that with Andor where it's like just in the beginning, I'm like, the show probably would have stand on its own without the Star Wars name because it's beautifully done as a sci-fi show. But it's like again, it has a Star Wars name attached to it, and obviously with the Star Wars name being attached to it, there's a lot of weight that's not weight, a lot that people are going to expect from the show and everything being in the Star Wars universe. But I look at some of these properties and I see them as if they were just didn't have a certain name attached to it, like Halo, for example. It looked great as a sci-fi show with the budget that they put into it and everything, like the set pieces and all that. It was beautiful, the armor and everything that they paid attention to. I mean, and even like when the Covenant, like it was just a random alien race and all. I mean, you felt that it set the tone in the beginning. But it's like I could see where some people will be upset with it because it did take it like how Tone said, if it followed like the story for Reach, because Reach is a beautiful story. Even when you played the game, it's just phenomenal. You didn't even have to follow Master Chief. You could have followed a rogue Spartan. You could have followed a different Spartan unit like they did in Halo ODST, which wasn't a Spartan unit. It was just regular troops that they followed. Or you could have followed the squad that fell in Reach, which I think probably would have also led more to the story because you could do a lot more with that. Well, that's what I was thinking.
So you think Andor would have been better had it not been connected to Star Wars? I disagree.
I mean, the three episodes, I enjoyed it, and because I enjoyed it, and I was happy that we didn't get all the. It just feels like a really solid show from the first 3 episodes that I watched, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm into this. Like, my kid isn't watching it. Like, he watched it with me. He's like, he's like, this is not his. Like, Tales of the Jedi.
No.
Awesome. Loved it.
He's on.
The thing about Andor, it is actually more Star Wars than people realize because when George Lucas made Star Wars, it had a lot of political things in it. You know, like it's a political story. It's that's really what it is, and we're seeing. We joke. There's a joke about the prequel trilogy and how it's pretty much just a political battle for kids. Kids are watching politics and not even realizing it. And I think when I watched Andor, that's what really intrigued me was we got away from the lightsabers, we got away from the over-the-top action, and we're not on Tatooine. Right, we're not on Tatooine, and we're following a character through a journey, and it's not the hero's journey, right? Like that's what's really cool to me is we're getting some of that old Star Wars from the books, where every scene has a power to it, it's not using action as power. It's actually using dialogue as power, which is what some of the things I really enjoyed about Star Wars. I don't know if you can see my back shelf there. That's the remaining. I've moved over 80 times in my life, and one of my boxes of Star Wars books is gone. I've read almost the entire, extended universe, whatever they.
Kristen, you have to tell me what's my next trilogy to read. I just wrapped up Darth Bane.
Oh, your thoughts.
Oh, we have to talk. We're gonna get. I just wrapped up that shit. Okay. We're not. If we start talking about that, we're gonna go another hour.
It needs to be a movie. See, so just to talk about adaptations and being angry. If they did that as a movie and fucked it up, I'd be fucking angry because it's so good.
Yes, it was
Chris,
so fucking good.
Chris wants to weigh in. Go ahead.
I need my next trilogy to read. I wrapped that up, and now I'm like,
did you read
where
Darth Plagueis yet?
No, I haven't done that one yet.
So read that one. That's also a good one. Anyway, all right, go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
Heir to the Empire is really good. Just to throw that out there. Read Heir to the Empire. Most of the early.
I read that. I read that trilogy already with Thrawn.
Yes. I've met Timothy Zahn. I won't really talk much about his newer books, but his original runs were really, really good. And the guy who did Darth Bane, Drew Karpyshyn, is actually one of my favorite writers. Had a little nerd moment when he liked one of my tweets like a while ago when I said that he was my favorite writer. But yeah, the Darth Bane trilogy might go down as one of my favorite series in Star Wars because you're actually rooting for the villain that entire time. And one of the, again, one thing I love about books is we can visualize this for ourselves, but the thought bomb where he takes out everybody.
Dude, oh my God. People don't even understand the immense it's just so good.
That's a good scene, and also like when his inner monologue when he's fighting the Jedi Masters and the Knights in book 2, and it's like, yo, I just want him to murk everybody. Just
dude,
right.
It's just so good. And then the thought process behind in book 3 when he's waiting for Xana to step up. You guys don't know how good that was. Anyway, we can't go down that rabbit hole. We can't.
I've read that trilogy twice.
I'm over here. I'm just like watching you guys just go back and forth.
So Andor, we're talking Andor next week. We're going to be touching base on Andor's mid-season next week. So we will dive more into Star Wars world next week. I don't want to get too off.
Do we want to do a little bit of the Jedi stories?
Did you guys watch it?
I haven't watched it, but I'm going to.
I can watch it before next week.
They are good. I know there's been some issues.
Super short, right?
They are. They're 15 minutes, 16 minutes each. I know there's been issues with some of the Ahsoka stuff, the canon for Ahsoka, because they change it from the audiobook that was released. Like the last one of the 6 is about Ahsoka, and when she comes back, there's a little bit of issues there. But all the Dooku stuff, love it.
Also, too,
I'm excited.
Next
I'm gonna check out the Tales of the Jedi as well this week.
You guys play nice in chat. I will put all of you on timeout.
What just happened?
Chat's getting out of control, and I will listen.
Who's bullying people?
I will
no one's bullying. Rick,
don't make me go back there.
Don't make me go back there.
Rick is waiting to blow up on Andor.
And Rick, I promise, come next week, we will be talking Andor next week, and we're also going to cover the season finale right after it ends.
Later, George.
Thank you for that.
Fun ass show. It was a fun ass show.
I've had a great time. Thank you so much.
We always love everybody on Chris. I hope you have fun on the show and everything. Guys, back up Crit. I just sent again that link for you guys in the chat. So next week we have Andor. Next week we also have Keith Gleason on, who is the creator for Mighty Mascots and is one half of Indie Comics Relay podcast. You guys got to see Johnny C earlier in the chat as well. He's the other half of that podcast. He was on the show. We had him on the show a few weeks ago, I believe, with Johnny.
You don't have Jason next week?
No, we don't have Jason next week.
Oh shit! I won't be on for that one because I won't be here. I'll be in California.
Keith is in Black Panther, Black Adam episode.
Oh yeah, Keith is in Black. Never mind.
Right.
Yeah,
so talk Andor. Don't talk Tales of the Jedi because I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, Keith. Sorry, I was mixed up. Jason Lennox is coming on. He
Michelle's like, y'all have Rick.
He's coming on.
Rick or Pong, whoever shows up first.
Right.
Yes.
Let's have come on. Let's have both. Come on.
Support indie creators.
Listen, we got to make you guys work for it.
This is super important.
Thank you. I got 2 backers while we were on here. So
What?
I got them there and back my book. Really appreciate it. We are now on $94 away from 4,000, which is when we unlock the trading cards. So
nice.
Yeah.
Dude, congrats, man.
Thank you.
Rick calling you out.
Yeah, no, Rick, you're gonna be filling in for Tone next week. You heard it on air.
It works.
Wow! Yo, it's getting spicy in chat today.
I'm a bigger nerd on Star Wars than Pong. Well, that's probably true. I did not read any of the books. That's why I like them so much.
My friend Brad and I talk about Star Wars. There's an ongoing joke that every conversation we have ends in Star Wars, and we usually spend about 3 to 5 hours at least every other day talking somewhere about Star Wars, either in the chat or on the phone. Some things we love, some things we hate. There's a lot of hate for the recent stuff, but we both have read like every wiki. The last 2.
Last 2, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. 7 was just like,
I was good with the nostalgia bomb. I was good with it.
I was good with it too up
Guys,
until they.
Okay,
all right, we're going
rabbit hole.
All right. My bad. Okay.
We promise to have a Nerd Out Star Wars Day Chris, we would definitely have you back with that one.
Yeah, send me an invite. I will be
Absolutely.
here. I
Yeah.
will be here for it.
Anyway, this has been another fun episode, Nerds of the Round.
Yeah.
This has been your boy Sebastian.
Thank you, boy, Long.
Your boy Tone from across the hall.
Of course, last but not least, Vmac. See you guys next week.
Take it easy, guys.
And play that beautiful bean music in 3, 2,